Jeffrey Epstein apparently had quite a bit of interest in biohacking the human genome, and that's according to the recent Epstein files that were released by the DOJ. So he pursued individuals from the intelligence community to help him do it, which shouldn't be surprising since he was an asset for Mossad. And Epstein seemingly wanted to either clone himself, live forever, or potentially both, because we don't have enough horrible people on this planet. But nonetheless, curious what you think in your initial thoughts, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so I thought the places that they financed here were also interesting, so keep an eye out for that. And these folks were sick. And so as you're hearing Anna tell you the whole story, remember the US government knew all of this and never tried to stop any of it.
So this is yet another example of the excellent reporting that you can see over at Dropsite News. This particular piece was published by Ryan Grimm, Murtaza Hussain, and Emily Jasinski. And here's Ryan Grimm kind of giving us a rundown of what Epstein was up to as it pertains to biohacking.
He talks about wanting to have cloned himself.
Who among us?
Who among us? And to do DNA experiments and so the headline of the article refers to how he wanted to turn he built his New Mexico ranch, he said, to be this Manhattan Project for basically kind of hacking the genome. So he wanted to connect NSA hackers
yes.
To biology. That's why I said in the last segment that this biotech research thing actually tracks. Like this is the kind of thing that he was into. He's arguing that once you get into the world of code, now you're talking about math. Mm-hmm. And you actually can try to, maybe somebody can answer some of these questions, that maybe you can get in there and manipulate DNA and reshape humanity.
Now, Epstein was reaching out to intelligence officials while he was working on this project. So here is Emily kind of giving us a little more on that. Let's take a look.
I was searching the DOJ library for NSA. I was just typing in all the 3-letter agencies. And when I got to NSA, you see the former White House counsel, Kathy Rumler, is talking, there's a calendar invite for Kathy, NSA, signal intelligence. There's some fairly open conversation that seems to imply Epstein is aware she's NSA or CIA affiliated. She brags to him about getting a CIA award from John Brennan. And so he's moving in intelligence circles. There's a former CBS News producer named Dan Dubno in these emails who Epstein meets I think they formally meet in 2009, or their relationship begins in 2009. You can see it in the emails. And Epstein asks him to connect him to NSA codebreakers and Israeli hackers. And Dubno offers that up on a silver platter.
Oh, wow. Someone who worked over at CBS News was helping Jeffrey Epstein out with connections to intelligence so he can inquire about biohacking. Fascinating. Now, there are some more details here. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, to what end? What exactly was Jeffrey Epstein's goal? And look, it is hard to say for sure. So there's a bit of speculation here. However, here's the little that we do know for sure. So in 2019, Epstein revealed the following in his conversations or email exchanges with Steve Bannon. He had just purchased a ranch in New Mexico. It was intended to serve as the site for the next so-called Manhattan Project, referencing the base where nuclear weapons were developed during World War II. And then the goal was to assemble or get together a group of leading scientists at this ranch. Now, here's what Epstein said to Bannon. In our world, the physical world, there were things that were just unexplainable. I wanted to see if we could build tools so others smarter than me could help investigate it. So with that in mind, let's rewind to the year 2006. That was the year when Epstein was set to meet with the former head of, I think, YouTube. I don't know how to say her name correctly. You should know, Cenk. But anyway, so Anne Wojcicki. There we go. Okay, so founder of 23andMe. So Ghislaine Maxwell told Epstein ahead of the meeting Be very nice to her, not stupid. She is interested in mapping DNA, etc. She is key. Around that same time, Epstein was in touch with Harvard geneticists George Church and Gary Ruvkun. Okay, so Ruvkun sought Epstein's support for genomics research to elucidate pleasure signals in the brain, which is super creepy. So at that point, you have Ruvkun writing back to Stephen Koslin, later Harvard's social science dean, quote, "Let me know if this subject is too strange for our patron." The correspondence was forwarded to Epstein, who wrote back, "The patron has no boundaries." Well, that's definitely true. Okay, so as for Church, in 2011, Epstein funded his CRISPR gene editing research. And so if you're unfamiliar with that, it's meant to like engineer like perfect humans, right? So you alter DNA to do away with things that make people, characteristics that are considered undesirable in people, right? You know, the scientific world and the people behind it want to make us believe that this is all about like rooting out like illnesses and things like that. But I think it goes further than that. Nonetheless, Epstein seemed to be interested in extending his lifespan. And he also suggested on at least one occasion that he was interested in cloning himself. I'm going to pause for 1 second and just say the people who are into this kind of stuff are so self-absorbed, it like blows my mind. Like I die when I die. Like I don't want to live longer than I need to. And more importantly, why do I want another version of myself? Like why would I want to clone myself? I don't think I'm that great. I don't need another version of myself walking this planet. There can only be one. But anyway, let's continue. In 2014, a colleague of Church's sent Epstein a $193,400 invoice for a package deal to mutate his adult stem cells to increase longevity. Later that year, Epstein tried to arrange a meeting between Church and Bill Gates to discuss anti-aging and genetic fabrication. Epstein believed that intelligence officials were definitely key to this type of research. As early as December 2009, Epstein reached out to Daniel Dubno, a CBS News producer who previously worked with DARPA and the Department of Homeland Security, to find the top hacker codebreaker NSA type to assist in analysis of proteins. And you heard the folks over at Drop Site News talk about that a little bit in the video that we showed you earlier. And so the following email is from 2012. It was written by Epstein. The recipient's name is unfortunately redacted, but here's what Epstein wrote in the email. My biology gurus at Harvard all agree that the signal intelligence used by the various agencies could be put to work on breaking the DNA code or protein signal problems. Breaking foreign codes is the expertise of the US and NSA. Epstein prompted the recipient to help him recruit code breakers from the various intelligence agencies. Quote, "It would be great to know which agency button to push." Cenk.
Yeah, so he's constantly working with intelligence agencies. He knows what the intelligence agencies are up to. Did I know that information about the intelligence agencies? No, not until I read it in one of Epstein's emails. But he seems to be perfectly aware. There was one country mentioned so far. Was it Portugal? Was it Kazakhstan? No, Israel again. Really weird. So, by the way, the person that Anna mentioned, Ann Wojcicki, is of course the sister of the deceased Susan Wojcicki, who was the CEO of YouTube. Now, look, Anna, if it was just him, just a rando person looking into a genome project, and that wouldn't be that, to me, that wouldn't be that big a deal, right? And what can we do about cloning? I'm sure there are a lot of people involved that feel the same way, right? We see it in the context of the Peter Thiels and the Silicon Valley bros who are constantly trying to stay alive and replace their blood and do all these weirdo things in the name of eugenics. And obviously eugenics does not have a great past given what they did with it in Germany as that surveillance state and that terror state began. So yeah, it's worrisome. Plus, some of the research goes through MIT. And apparently the crypto business was also started by research at MIT. And you know, the guy who started cryptocurrency in the first place is anonymous. Then I thought for a second, Anna, wait, how do we even know that it's a person? How do we know that it's not a government that started cryptocurrency so they could move illicit money without being tracked? And hey, look, there's Epstein right in the middle of the MIT division that started cryptocurrency, which he was funding. And now he goes to that same MIT division for the Genome Project. He goes and talks to Harvard for it. So this guy is one of the most connected people on earth. He knows what's going on in the intelligence agencies, constantly serving Israel and funding all of these projects. And our government knows all about it and never tells you a single word about it. So yeah, there are people who are running this country that have compromised our government, and our press, other than Drop Site News and us and a couple other shows, are like, yeah, that's great, it's wonderful. Yeah, Epstein's friends should run everything. Yeah.
Yeah, look, the only thing I want to say about this is I find it so fascinating that the Peter Thiels of the world look at the human population as totally disposable. In fact, looks at the human population with such hostility. It's just so evil. Like, I see it as evil. They want to replace humans with AI. They're very overt about that. But at the same time, they're real interested in biohacking. So humans like them can either be cloned or live for a long period of time, potentially forever. Like, I don't know how possible that even is. It's just the fact that they have an interest in that I find fascinating. So they really do see themselves as different from the rest of the human race, like exceptional, more important. Everyone else is disposable. I think it says a lot about them. So you want to talk about the Antichrist? I would look in the mirror.
Yeah, and anyway, I want you guys to understand too that like Peter Thiel, for example, and some of the others. Now, he's not involved in this story, but based on other stories, the guys in Silicon Valley, they're not in any one religion. They do all support Israel, and I probably some for loyalty reasons, ethnic issues, etc. But some for financial reasons, some for because they're involved in secret projects together. So the issue isn't ever religion, but yes, this incredible loyalty to Israel throughout all of these. But and those super wealthy guys in Silicon Valley, do they think that they're better than the rest of us? 100%. The guys trying to clone themselves think they're God's gift to humanity. We're just in the way. We're all meddlesome, but it's their planet. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.